Hi everyone, I am Daniel, and today I'm going to give you my quick thoughts on every single card that's coming out in the new Arkham Horror expansion, The Feast of Hemlock Vale. I've already seen most of these, so these are not my first ever thoughts, but I do want to talk about some of the ones that I've played and some of the ones that I'm excited to play. We'll just get started here with the investigators. I don't have much to say about them except for they seem kind of neat. Wilson Richards here has the tool thing going on. I think that seems a lot of fun to play him, not just as a guardian that fights everything, but has a way of doing some clue getting from time to time. So that seems cool. His weakness seems fair, and his ad hoc special card seems fair as well, allowing you to only when you discard cards, tools, or weapons from your hand, you get to resolve an ability ignoring all costs. So this is one of the few sets cards in the set that we'll see that lets you actually take action abilities on assets, ignoring all the costs, including ammo and extra actions. But I don't know. This one seems I haven't played obviously with this yet. It seems kind of hard to get all the value out of it, right? You're trying to discard tools and weapons from your hand without playing them, so you have to already have a tool or weapon in play that you like a lot. So I'm sure there's a cool like play loop that I don't know about that makes this not so difficult, but just thinking about it makes it kind of an interesting challenge. And then the hasty repair, you just get rid of it because otherwise you're at zero. I mean, honestly, you're only at three to begin with, right? So maybe not so terrible. Let's talk about Kate. She's a seeker who does things with science and tool assets. You put clues on them, and it gives you basically a +2 skill boost using your flux stabilizer. That's neat. Her deck building is kind of boring, right? Just 0 to 5 seeker, 0 to 4 science, and then some insight cards. I guess there's a few things you can do with the insight that might make things a little more interesting. There's some in the set. Otherwise, I don't know. She's a seeker, right? She can probably do everything. Let's take a look at her other cards that are. I'm going to talk more about the investigators on a later date. This is just real quick thoughts. I want to spend more time on the actual investigator player cards. So yeah, the fight and evade events. I think that's the way to reuse your clues. I think that's really what they're for. So this whole placing clues on assets to get +2, that seems really, really good, right? But if you have to use up those clues by either spending them, I guess, or you want to move them back to Kate's investigator card to fight or evade. That way you can get the +2s again later. That makes sense. Otherwise, like the fight and evade event itself seemed pretty weak. Like do something else, right? Have your other friends help you out with fighting or evading or use a better card. But I think this is really just for getting your clues back onto your investigator card. And her failed experiment, this is, I think, the first ever test on a investigator weakness. That seems difficult since it's a willpower test and she only has a base of 2. Scary. And then you take horror, I suppose, or place clues on your location. Yeah, it's gonna be more difficult than just 3, right? It'll be probably 4 or 5 in most cases. Uh, Fine, though, that seems fair to me. Alessandra, though, I am looking forward to playing her quite a bit because I like rogues a lot. She gets an extra action to parlay, and the parlay in this box seems pretty robust. So I think there's a lot she can do here. It's not just, I think, getting clues and evading enemies, which is what her stat line suggests. She has an extra 1, by the way. She's got 3 willpower, so she totals up to 13, where most investigators get just 12 points in their stats. So that's neat. Extra actions are good, balanced health and sanity, and she gets 3 copies of her Beguile, which lets you kind of leave an enemy around for parlay tricks, as well as just using the Beguile event to do a basic investigate or evade at that enemy's location or move them around. That's really good. I think that's kind of necessary for her playstyle. If she wants to be parlaying and using that extra action every turn, I think this is a good choice. Three copies. And then we have Semikona, who you cannot parlay with, so he's got the elusive keyword, which I believe means after you attack or he attacks you, he'll move away, 1 location away. So you got to kill him in one in one go, which means probably you have to run something like backstab or some other kind of trick, because otherwise 2 damage attacks is going to move him away, and you want to get rid of him as soon as possible, because if you parlay, you place a doom on him, and that's not what you want to do. Okay, Kohaku. This is the Bless and Curse Investigator. He gets actually 0 to 5 Bless and 0 to 5 Curse cards. Only 0 to 3 Mystic, but tons of cards in this set are going to be Cursed or Blessed or both. So at the start of your turn, you add a Bless or Curse, depending on which one is. There aren't as many of in the bag. In the case of a tie, you choose. Or you remove 2 and 2 to get an extra action. Extra actions in Mystic is really, really good. They tend to be pretty slow investigators, so this is a good way to make up the speed. 4-4-3-1 stat line means he can pretty much do anything, but probably better on the clues. I think this is good. 1 agility doesn't matter when you can use other things for evading enemies. All right, I think his special card is super cool though. Kohaku gets a asset that lets you just pick a Bless or Curse token, whichever there's more of in the bag, to resolve. So anything that triggers off of a Bless or a Curse, you just do it, right? And this could be not just for skill tests. This could be for other effects as well, as we will see. Weakness, though, is pretty tough. Aloof, Elusive, and Hunter. So again, this means that if he is at your location, you need to engage, then fight, and you have to kill him in one go, otherwise he runs away. Also, if you reveal a Bless or Curse token during a skill test at the Weeping Uri's location, no matter who you are, it will attack that investigator, which means it will move away. Really kind of annoying. And the 2 horror is not nothing at all. So I think that's a cool weakness. You just have to plan not on revealing Bless or Curse tokens while you're attacking, I guess. I think you still land the hit, though, if it attacks you first. It's aloof, though. So it runs away, becomes exhausted. That's what elusive does. And you can you still land the attack if you already initiated it? Probably. I think so. All right, lastly, we've got Hank. Pax has been playing Hank on my channel already. Seems really cool. I love the whole turning resolute thing. 0 to 5 survivor, but 0 to 2 innate and or spirit cards. Only 10 of those cards, though. There's a lot in the card pool that's innate or spirit, so seems good. There's some worries about, like, does this get in the way of what Calvin wants to do? And I mean, lots of survivors want to take damage, right? I think Hank has maybe more upside sooner in a campaign, in a scenario, because like the 3-1-5-3 stat line is already really good. But then I think Calvin can do some really cool things later, and he's got a slightly better card pool. The deck size 35, it matters too. So you're not going to be getting clues with Hank, not the traditional way where you can do that with Calvin. So you are sort of stuck with the I'm a fighter thing. Even with the assistant version of the Resolute form, I mean, I think you could help, but 3 isn't that great either, right? I don't know. This is probably for, like, if you wanted to play Hank more as a flex or in solo, you might sometimes go with this. But so far, when Pax has been playing, we've always gone to the Warden version just because he's been dealing with enemies and going from 5 to 4 versus from 5 to 6, especially with the extra health. That's, I think, important. I love the whole take as much damage and horror as you can and then you heal it all. One question, of course, is do you go resolute as soon as possible to get the extra stuff here, even though you cannot be healed when you are resolute? Probably with a big enough card pool, I think that's fine. In the small card pool that we've been playing, I don't think there's enough allies to stick all the damage to horror on. Anyway, Stout-Hearted is absolutely sick. You get to move damage and horror from you as damage to an enemy. Just kill them when you engage it. That's awesome. Hank has so far had tons of money. So the 2 cost here for this event is not a big deal. And Where's Paw hasn't seemed so bad. I mean, you take the direct horror, but usually you can just go kill this enemy. We haven't hit a bad enemy yet. So, all right, that's the investigators. Let's move on to the actual player cards. I'll have more to say. Okay, Ancestral Token, I've talked about before. I think it's sick. Really good for blessed teams, especially if you are the one who's killing enemies. Cleaning Kit, I have tried this one. Um, I tried it by putting it in a Leo Anderson deck, and it never came out. Wah wah. I think it's cool. It's another venture, basically. Better when your guns get better, right? With more XP. It's also taking up a slot that I don't think you do much with in Guardian, except for Hollowed Mirror or maybe Ancestral Token. I like it. I like it a lot. Katana. This one is weird. So it's a two-hand slot weapon. You get +2 combat for the test. If you succeed by exactly 2, you may exhaust the katana to do +2 damage, so you 3 overall. That's neat. How do you succeed by exactly 2, right? That's a strange mechanic that a couple other cards we'll see do think about that, but I think it's hard. And do you want to spend your 4 resources, 2 hand slots, maybe doing 3 damage? Maybe. I actually think maybe the benefit is this other ability. So exhaust katana for not an action, a free triggered ability. Fight, use agility instead of combat, which is who wants to do that other than maybe Lily and Skids? I don't know. Sister Mary, maybe. But where this is cool, this is like here's the extra damage, right? You can use it to do the extra damage that you didn't do with the action fight. However, you can also use this during other phases of the game, like the hunter phase. You get a window right after hunters move to your location. You can just use this and kill them before they actually attack you, if they have 1 health left. So I don't know, a swarm of rats or something is moving in. I think that's pretty neat. Like there's some neat things I'm sure you can do with abusing that ability in other someone else's turn, right? You can do it on someone else's turn. Okay, Ofuda. This is the one that you use a bless token basically to replenish it, and then you can remove alert, aloof, elusive, and retaliates until the end of the round. I'm glad it doesn't take up a slot. I don't know if this is worth the card slot in your deck. It seems tough if... Okay, so you replenish this charge the first time a blessed token is revealed at your location each round. So if you haven't spent the charge yet, someone reveals a blessed token at your location, then you use this, you can't ever replenish it that round. A little awkward. Okay, we got masks. I'm going to make a video about all the masks, but this wolf mask I have played through an entire campaign and then a short campaign. I played in Leo also. Wow. I know this is the one that everyone thinks is busted. I played it in Skids, and it really moved him up from being, I don't know if I can pass these tests, to I can probably pass these tests. I like it in kind of an evadey investigator because you get to replenish every time you engage an enemy. So you can evade an enemy, and if you don't kill them off that round, you get the charge back basically because they re-engage you at the end of the round. Well, beginning of upkeep. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I think they're good for the 3 and 4 combat investigators. Maybe some who want to use agility also, just to get them to be more playable. For like Mark Harrigan, do you need this? No. Are you unhappy to have it? No. I think what this kind of does, because it's slotless too, is it maybe you reconsider playing cards like Beat Cop all the time. It's so cheap. 1 resource. But then you can play other allies that are maybe more interesting. Maybe it was a mistake for cards like Beat Cop to cost so much money, right? And maybe this is fixing that. And then there's the comparison to the level 0 talents, right? Like physical training and whatnot. And these are just better because, again, Wolf Mask, you just get the charge every time you want to use it. I don't know. I spoiled this card, right? So, like, it's good. All right, Absolution. It's a spell, blast, reveal 3 random tokens to the chaos bag along with X additional. For each non-symbol token revealed, add bless tokens. Okay. For each bless token revealed, heal 1 horror from an investigator or ally asset at your location. I don't know. I guess I have no thoughts about this one. Is it worth the deck slot? Nah. Okay, Guided by Faith. This is the investigate one with bless tokens. So notably, we didn't have anything really that investigated with bless tokens before from Innsmouth. Everything was fight. So you may investigate using willpower instead of intellect. Before revealing chaos tokens, add 2 bless tokens. That's okay. If a bless or elder sign token is revealed during the skill test, discover 1 additional clue. 2 resources. Is it worth 2 resources to put 2 bless tokens in and get 1 clue? Or do you need to hit? I don't know. How hard is it really to add bless tokens in if you're trying to go that route, right? There's other cards that add bless tokens that probably is better, but I guess compressing that into an investigate action that you might pass. I don't know. Play Read the Signs. Read the Signs is just going to get you the 2 clues. I think getting the extra clue is better than filling the bag up. The payoff for the bless tokens is not that good, although we'll see what else is in this set. That's kind of my feeling. Like, sure, if you're going full Clover, using bless tokens, then maybe you want this and Read the Signs, which I think like Sister Mary, Koaku can take them all, so that seems okay. I don't know. Hold up. This is where you take a card and an action just to play an item. So you don't deal damage, performing a fight action against the chosen enemy. You could use a weapon or something, I suppose, but why? What are you playing with this? Are you playing weapons? Are you playing other items? I mean, it costs 1, so you need to succeed by at least a couple for this to even do anything. You're avoiding an attack of opportunity. Tactic, trick. Maybe there's something you can do that's kind of cute, but I'm not sure it does enough. I know it's level 0, but Task Force. This is the first of our double cards. There's a bunch of these that cost you an extra action just to play. This one is 2 cost, so you're already paying 2 and 2 actions, and you get basically 3 things. 1 at a time in any order. Choose an investigator at your location to resolve an action ability on an asset they control without paying its action cost. Right, this is, I guess, the first one we've seen where what they mean here is reduce the cost of that trigger ability by 1. They don't mean ignore all costs. It's just reduce it by 1 cost. So it's basically 1 action. Move to a connecting location, 1 action. Discover 1 clue at their location, 1 action. How does this work? 1 at a time in any order. Choose an investigator at your location. So if you move the investigator to another location, can you not do the other 2 things because they're no longer an investigator at your location? Why does it say discover 1 clue at their location then? I mean, I guess it's possible you could play this as if you're at their location. I mean, okay. Like, the rules thing aside, because that's kind of an odd wording here. I'm not sure what they actually mean. Right? Again, if you move them first, can they not resolve that ability on an asset they control? Because presumably you can pick 3 different investigators, including yourself. Okay, just as a baseline though, I think this is it's fair, right? But I think you have to play this with the clue, discover 1 clue in mind, because a testless clue is really good, right? You get to bypass a locked door or stuff like that. The other things are just like things you can do otherwise. If you're Carson, this is really good. Tinker. Attach to a tool asset, it takes up 1 fewer hand slot or accessory slot. Neat. This is the hidden pocket version in Guardian. Kind of. That's good. I think if you're a Kate can take it, right? I think if you are trying to fit as much stuff in as you possibly can, this is good. Purified, this is adding blessed tokens or removing curse tokens for each point you fail by or succeed by, rather. Um, yeah, but there's no boost. Okay. Um, it really depends on how much you're struggling to add blessed tokens. I really think you just play ancestral token and maybe some other events that are guaranteed. I don't know. Honestly, I've only played Bless. I played Bless in Father Mateo, and you use other cards to keep the Bless tokens in the bag. And then Sister Mary just always has them in. So I think this is not necessary. I don't know. Hand-eye coordination. This is an action, one resource for an action. Sometimes you need it, right? Sometimes you're like, I've only had one more action this turn to fight or to get a clue or something. Now, how often do you bank on that happening, right? Why do you put this in your deck? It's a backup plan, I guess. I like what's the other Guardian card that came in Nathaniel Cho? Galvanize. I like that card a lot because it also readies an asset, and then you can fight. That one costs 2 resources. It's also 1 XP, so it's very similar. This one lets you do other things than fight, which is, I guess that's good. But the readying a Guardian asset means you can do some cool things. This just says, give me 1 action. Strong-armed. 1 XP while it is committed to an attack using melee or range, does +1 damage. Range, notably, it's not weapons that are conventionally ranged. These are like just the ornate bow. Firearms are not ranged. So, hooray, melee, you win the day again. After revealing chaos tokens for this attack, so this is regardless of if it's a melee ranged or not, you may take 1 damage to cancel that chaos token, return to the chaos bag, and reveal a new one. Why? Why do we no longer care about the autofill? I mean, this is good. This is really, really good. If you're Vincent Lee, you just play this and you're like, okay, I'll take some more damage. I mean, analysis exists at level 0 for Seekers. This is just a little bit, I mean, look, this is better because hitting the autofail on an attack is really bad. Really, really bad. And the damage, who cares? Most of the time, it doesn't matter because you should be playing to tank extra damage. Hey, second wind, we have a way of healing damage. This is an upgrade from the level 0 version that came out in the Forgotten Age. I love the level 0 version, and this costs 1 less resource, and it heals you an extra damage. 2 XP? I don't know. Not priority. Cleaning kit level 3. I think this has an extra supply. And then you get this +2. So this is 4 skill boosts. And you can add more supplies to this. You can refill this with Venturer if you're doing double duty with this idea. You can add it with Emergency Cache level 3. Contraband. Okay. This is really strong, I think. The +2 skill value on an asset, I like that. I think on an asset, these things are much better. Again, that's why I don't think highly of Purified. You might add 5, but you might not. It's innate, so I suppose if you're doing Silas, you can pull this back if you didn't succeed, or by much. It just doesn't give you any skill boost, so I don't know. Okay, Blessed, wow, we got a lot of stuff here. Blessed Blade level 4. This one does give you a nice boost to hit, and it does 2 damage always. So one-handed weapon, +2, +1 damage. Great, sign me up. The level 0 version was kind of hot garbage, right? You had to reveal a Blessed token or Elder Sign to do the extra damage. Return each Blessed token revealed during this attack to the Chaos Bag. It kind of performs the Sacred Covenant thing. Before revealing Chaos tokens for this attack, you may exhaust Blessed Blade to add to... Yeah, I mean, okay, this is really good. Compared to all the things that are just sort of maybe adding less tokens in, I guess you could just put those in your deck first and upgrade to this. Or I don't know. I think that this is good. A one-handed weapon that is really going to make your engine run with blessed tokens. Even without blessed tokens, I think you could play this and not be. I mean, you'll add some, right? You'll add two. Okay. Eyes of Volusia, and then its bonded card, Blade of Yoth. Item, relic, spell. Just put all the traits there, right? And it's a parlay, so Alessandra can take this too. Choose an enemy at your location until the end of the round. Each investigator gets +1 skill value while fighting, evading, or parlaying with the chosen enemy. Place one resource, and it can even be an elite enemy. Okay, and if you have any number of charges on this, I suppose you can flip it over to or switch it with the Blade of Yoth. Spend 1 to 3 charges. Fight. For this attack, you may use willpower instead of combat. You don't have to. You get +2 skill value and deal +1 damage for each charge spent as part of this action's cost. And then you can swap it back. So you want to put 3 and then fight. Notably, you could do this in the same turn, right? You could parlay and then still get +1 skill value while fighting the enemy. Is this slow? Not if you're Alessandra. Not if you're Carson. 4 XP. It's not limit 1. You can find it. Spell, relic. This is pretty cool. I mean, the parlay is basically taking away an extra damage, but if it's a big enemy, this is really good. And everyone gets to benefit, not just you. I think it's fun. Another double. Flurry of Blows. 2 cost, 5 XP. Play only if you control a melee asset. Sure. If you spend an additional action, fight, choose a melee asset you control, and take an immediate fight action with that asset without paying its action trigger cost. You may repeat this effect up to 3 times after the final attack resolves if it is your turn and your turn. Okay, so you spend 2 actions and 2 resources, and you fight 4 times. So 2 actions and 2 resources for 4 attacks. So you spend. You're basically, I mean, two resources is kind of the going rate for an extra action. So you kind of get an extra action on top of that. Okay. How many enemies are big enough for this to be that good? 5 XP. Okay, let's say you have the Blessed Blade and you do 8 damage. Versus normally you would just do 6. No, you'd normally do 8, right? If you could spend another. No, you'd spend 2 plus the other one, so you could do 10 in 1 damage, right? Right. So you do this 4 times, and then you attack again right before using this because this would end your turn. Okay, compared to just 6 without any card. Without any card and 5 XP somewhere else. I don't know. 5 XP for an event is quite a bit. It's a tactic, so you could put it under Stick the Plan. I don't know. 1-2 punch is really good because that one does guaranteed damage. This doesn't give you a bonus to hit on top of whatever the melee asset gives you. So if you're only like going around with a machete, probably this isn't that good, but you need to upgrade other things first, which gets in the way of the 5 XP to spend on this. And 1-2 punch in Nathaniel Cho is an extra damage, so it does you 6 for 1 action. And you can recur it. But I don't play that card outside of Nathaniel Cho. Maybe I should, but... Butterfly Swords? That can do a lot. I think we need some more cards that say, like, you get some bonus for every action you performed, or every fight that you're doing. That happens in Rogue, more likely. Give this to Amanda Sharp, somehow. Yeah, I mean, there isn't a whole lot of like benefit for doing lots of skill tests. Maybe an Elder Sign, right? Speaking of, Miracle Wish, another 5 XP event. Fast, play after one or more blessed tokens are revealed during a skill test at your location. Search your bonded cards for Evanescent Ascension, put it into play. It's an arcane slot asset over here. Place up to X resources on it as wishes to a maximum of the number of blessed tokens revealed. Remove this from the game. All right, you got to pay a bunch of resources though for this one-time effect, which is when an investigator at your location would fail a skill test, spend one wish and exhaust Evanescent Ascension, resolve that investigator's Elder Sign effect, including the modifier, in addition to all other tokens revealed during the test. So auto fail doesn't help you out, but like a -5 or something. Okay. How many times does this happen? Not on standard. Unless you're playing really suboptimally, how many times do you fail skill tests where the Elder Sign will help you? And you really care about it, right? Sometimes. But you need to reveal maybe three of these is going to make it worth it. Three wishes. So 3 blessed tokens in a single skill test. Then you spend 3 resources and do this. This is a lot of work for something that's good, but aren't there other ways to keep this problem from affecting you? I think it might be fun. If you're playing with an investigator who's got a really good Elder Sign effect, like Will York, I think you play this. Father Mateo can't play it because he only takes 0 to 3 blessed. Oh, so sad. Carson? Blessed Carson is kind of good. I think the trick is how do you get enough blessed tokens revealed during a single skill test at your location? I don't know. You play Favor of the Sun, you play Olive McBride. Okay. Um, I can see this being good. I just am not sure that the 5 XP is going to be useful enough. Again, a one-time event. You can play 2 of these. You can put 10 XP in your deck. Anyway, let's go to Secret. All right, these were cards that we had seen like last August. Chemistry set. I think this is a neat idea. So you have a accessory slot to investigate. If you fail by exactly 2, you dump it. If you succeed by exactly 0, you get some resources. That's cool. Succeed by exactly 2, draw a card. By exactly 4, you get another clue. Again, how do you make this happen? It's like the katana thing. Maybe you don't care. I can see Ursula using this because you get that extra investigate and you just say, hey, this is a way to do it. Accessory slot, I think that's kind of neat. Dr. Charles West, it's a level 0 ally in Seeker. Is it as good as Dr. Milan or Jeremiah Kirby? No. You have 1 additional hand slot which can only be used to hold a tool asset. Okay. Extra hand slot's good, but you need to find this guy first, sort of. After you successfully investigate by exactly 1 or 3, okay, not the things from chemistry set, the other ones, deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. A little bit like Alice Luxley, only not. Alice is cool because you can get clues in other ways, and you can control it better. So 3 resources, the 1/2 soak. It's a science asset, so you can use Kate's ability. Iffy. Microscope. I have played this. I played this in 4-player with Charlie Kane, and it was really, really good. After an enemy at your location is successfully evaded or defeated, and it doesn't have to be by you, someone else can do it. Place 1 resource on Microscope as evidence, and then you just basically wait till there is 2 evidence on it, and then you get a bunch of clues. You get 3 clues for 2 actions. It's a good deal, especially if you get that huge boost, right? Now, the best part about this, of course, is that you don't spend the evidence unless you succeed. So it's not like fingerprint kit where you just, blow the supplies on it. And this is also good for someone like Joe or Roland, where you can deal with enemies, and then you kind of get the action back from dealing with the enemy by getting these extra clues when you do the investigate. I think that's good. Don't sleep on this card. I think it's really good. Mouse mask. Okay, got another mask, the Seeker one. Bound to be good, right? Uses 2 offerings, replenish 1 after you reveal a location or put a new location into play. How often does that happen during a scenario? If you are greedy and you tell everyone I have to go first to reveal the locations, then maybe like 4 or 5 times, depending on how big the map is. So you need to spend the offerings first, otherwise you don't get to put new offerings on it. That's not hard to do. Those are good numbers. Good skills to use, rather. Luke, of course, you just can get it every round you go to the Dream Gate, because that's always putting a new location into play. I think this one's fine. I don't think it's as busted as Wolf Mask is. I think it's good. I think you run out of locations and then you still need the skill boosts, and you're like, well, I guess I'll do something else. We have a research card, Rivenous Myconid, and it gets us the Uncanny Growth over here as a bonded card. And to translate it, we need to have succeeded by 3, or by 1 3 times on the investigate on this insight science card. Not hard. Only 1 per deck, so you got to find it. You got to spend the 1 resource to play your insight. Not that difficult. If you're playing Seeker and you want to do this, then you will try to do this. Control variable. This is after you reveal a curse token, you just get a clue. Anyone reveals a curse token. It's working a hunch, but not. Again, working a hunch is cool because you just pay your resource and you get it. The fact that this is cursed is good because Kohaku can take it. And probably you're playing to reveal curse tokens whenever you want. I mean, Kohaku can, right? He's got that card that just says pull a curse token out. Fine. Testing sprint. I'm excited about this one. This is another double. So 1 resource, insight, you spend another action, and then you get to investigate your location and each connecting location once in ascending order of shroud. So the lowest one first. If you fail any of those tests, you stop. That's fun, right? I think this is like a fixed version of, what's that stupid card? Deciphered Reality, the 5 XP one. So what kind of is annoying about this is you need to go reveal locations first, or you tell someone else to. Man, really good at Amanda, right? Thorough Inquiry, this is also a double. It's deep knowledge, but no curses. So 2 resources, 2 actions, draw a combined total of 5. I think that's good on a... Look, anytime that you spent an action to draw a single card, you probably could have been playing this card. Or someone at your location should have played this card. Yep, I like it. Throw the book at them. It's okay. I think it's cute, probably in solo, but I haven't found a home for it yet. Transmogrify, I've talked about how much I think this card is neat. I like it. Well funded, this is a skill. While you control a science or tool asset, it gets a wild. If you have 3 or more, you get 2 wilds, so it's 3 in total. I guess you can just put it in Kate and you're fine. Do you put it anywhere else? Joe? You don't really want this to show up in your deck before you have the assets in play. Kate wants assets in play, so this is fine. Otherwise, not that useful. Okay, get some XP cards. Gabriel Carrillo. 4 resources. So like Dr. Milan and Kirby, you get +1 intellect like Dr. Milan and Kirby. At the start of your turn, as a reaction, add a curse token to the chaos bag to draw a card. You just add curse tokens every round. You don't have to, it's a reaction. So if you don't want to, because it's getting a little bit much, you don't have to, or you don't need the cards. But holy cow, actionless card drawing. Is it better than getting the resources from Dr. Milan? Probably not. Okay, if your cards have enough resource generation in them already, then sure, this is probably better. And the curse synergy, I think, is why you play this. You play it for getting stuff for your Eye of Chaos or whatever. Hmm. I'm the kind of person though who loves resources. Resources allow you to play the cards that you draw. So maybe if you're running a pretty cheap deck or have lots of skills, then this is better. Cheap events. Uh, I can see it being a good puzzle piece. Okay. I mean, obviously it's good as a baseline. Just the +1 intellect, 2/1 soak is good. Steady-handed. So here's an asset that you only get one of in play. You could have two in your deck. When you would succeed at a skill test, exhaust steady-handed, you either succeed by one more or one less. Ah, this is how you get the right number. If you succeeded by exactly two, heal one horror. So Carolyn can take this. I mean, she would anyways, but doesn't take up her limited deck slots for Seeker. If you succeed by exactly two, heal one horror. Why are you playing this? It doesn't help you succeed. It's just to get the precise number. So Katana, right? Rogue wants this. Okay, I like that it's here. I need to think about more about why this is worth spending an experience point on. Okay. On the other hand, this one, fine tuning, attached to a tool or science asset you control, limit one per asset. After the attached asset exhaust fine tuning itself, ready the attached asset. Ooh. All right, so your fingerprint kit you can use twice per round. Maybe that one is going to run out. So how about lockpicks, right? Put this on lockpicks. This is always going to be good. What do we have? We had the chemistry set here. It exhausts. The microscope exhausts, so you can ready it to put another resource on it. So this is so slow because it takes several rounds to get the evidence, but not really. It's just every other round. This just makes it faster. I think this is fantastic. Does cost an action. Yeah, but this attaches to empirical hypothesis. Okay. This is good. It's a combo card. Okay, esoteric method. After this skill test ends, which is a 4 wild skill card, add 1 curse token to the chaos bag for each point the performing investigator either succeeded or failed by. Do you want to fail by or succeed by a lot? Do you want to fill the bag with curses? I guess so. Imagine putting this in Amanda, right? You just fill the bag up entirely. Yeah, okay, again, like you want the curse tokens in the bag for a lot of this stuff, which is a problem for other investigators who don't want that. So I don't think you play this unless, I mean, the 4 wild is good, but if it's the end of a scenario, maybe you don't care. Oof. Okay, prismatic spectacles. We did see this one before. It is a relic. It is cursed. You do add a curse token. Then you get to investigate +2 skill value. If you get a curse token, you get another clue. I like these investigates in the accessory slot. I think that's neat. There's a +2 skill value. So that negates a curse. This seems good. If you have ways of passing the tests beyond just worrying about negating the skill test, the curse token, you can probably ensure you draw the curse a lot. I mean, this is basically Eye of Chaos, right? But doesn't run out of charges for 2 resources. Eye of Chaos costs 5. I mean, Eye of Chaos can get you another clue, but okay. Now we're getting into the parlay stuff. We're only on Seeker. Confound, Insight, Trick, Parlay. Choose an enemy or location. Test Intellect, where it's the enemy's evade value. You get 2 clues if you succeed. Then you evade it and move, and it doesn't ready if it's non-elite. 3 XP. You take this in Alessandra? I don't know who else wants it. It's like breaking and entering, but better, but also more XP, which seems fine. You bypass the shroud and anything that would keep you from investigating. Yeah, okay. The parlay is going to be good for other things later. Microscope. Notably, we don't have our Seeker Rogue yet. Seeker 0 to 5, Rogue 0 to 2. That matters for something later. Okay, Microscope level 4. This time, you do not exhaust Microscope to add evidence. So it's faster. 2 actions investigate, you get +2 for each evidence. +2 for each? Was it just +1 for the level 0? Yep. Uh-oh. This is huge. Max +6. Why do you need +6? If you succeed, you may spend up to 3 evidence to discover that many additional clues. 4 clues for 2 actions. Yes. I guess Kaimani can take this, and then +6 does matter. Okay. I think this is really good. 2 resources for a hand slot item that doesn't run out of supplies or anything. All right, we have the Ravenous Myconid upgrade. So we got 1 of each of these creature, monster, and flora. So you get the Uncanny Growth. So that was the Investigate card, the 1 cost in Investigate. You add growth to this card for each point you succeed by. All right, the first one, when you Investigator draws a non-weakness treachery card if their location shroud is equal to or less than Ravenous Myconid's growth, you cancel the treachery's effects and discard it. Not just the revelation, right? Everything. Remove all growth. So you sit at a location with a low shroud, like 2 or 3. That's not that low. And then you just succeed by 2 or 3 on an investigate every round, and you get a clue. And then you cancel a treachery. I mean, it's limit 1 per deck, but why is this so strong? Okay, you have to remove all growth, so you can't save it up. You need to do the investigate every round, but there are ways to do that where it's not so bad. And presumably canceling treachery cards, I mean, yeah, some of them aren't so bad, right? So you could wait for one that's like pretty bad. Does this cancel peril? When an investigator draws. Is it before anything happens on it? So does it before peril kicks in? Because the reaction can be before? I don't know. Rules hell. Okay. Carnivorous Strain. Same text. Choose a non-elite enemy at your location with equal or fewer remaining health than the amount of growth on Ravenous Myconid. Defeat that enemy. Remove all. All right. It's free triggered ability, so fast defeat an enemy. Again, you might have like 2 or 3 on this. So once per round. You're not going to draw an enemy every round, though. But someone else could. Defeat the enemy for 4 XP, 2 resources, and burning some resources on the investigate. Do you save this up or you just keep burning through it? And you don't even have to spend an action to get the card back, the Uncanny Growth. That's good. I mean, there are some big chunky enemies out there, and I guess you can keep adding growth to it if you know you need to defeat a 5 or 6 health enemy. And it's defeat. You get victory points. It's good. Nurturing Strain. This one, remove all growth from Ravenous Myconid. Either heal that much damage or horror from Ravenous Myconid, or move that much damage or horror from investigators or ally assets at your location to it. So you play a little loop here where this thing has 3/3 soak, and you move, I guess, like up to 4, something like that, from investigators or allies. So you play this with B Cop and Field Agent, and you just have an unlimited machine there. I think this one seemed more fun. Like, you have to think about it, right? Think about how to keep this loop going. You can move damage from Hank. That's good. This one isn't as crazy as these two. I mean, keeping people alive indefinitely is really good, right? That's how you lose scenarios. But also treacheries and enemies lose you scenarios. Okay. Why are we printing more secret cards? No, I mean, I think they're okay. All right, I'm excited about this. This seems like fun. So we've got Bianca. You got a rogue ally who is limit 1 per deck, and she comes in with 10 resources, and you parlay with her, moving however many resources you want to, no more than 5. Then you test agility, the number of resources. If you fail, you owe her resources, and you get this enemy version. So you're going to play a little game of how much money can I take from her with the actions and the resources coming at a reasonable rate. So probably you want to do like 3-3-4 to get all the resources off. And you can purposely fail, I suppose, one of them to get your enemy out to parlay, right? Having an enemy around to parlay with is kind of Alessandra's shtick. So that's probably why this card is here. And you can't get rid of her, in terms of getting rid of her forever unless you spend resources to add her to the victory display. Because if you defeat her, anyone, it shuffles into the bearer's deck, basically. I think it's just there to give you an extra enemy to parlay with. You get the money, 2 resources for 10 over 4 actions, probably. So 8, so 2 resources each turn. I mean, that's not great, but it's coming from a single card, and you can get more at once. You can put 1 damage on her. Maybe she's not that good. But if you're gonna use her for the parlay ability, then that's why you play her. Otherwise, I don't think you do. You play Gregory Gry instead. Blackmail File. It is a tome for some reason. Choose a non-elite enemy at your location. Parlay, test willpower, where it's their printed health value. If you succeed, that enemy disengages from each investigator and gains aloof until the end of the round. We don't have the person who wants to do this yet. Parallel Daisy. No. British Bulldog. We have an item here that is a weapon, so we get a firearm for rogues. Again, we have nothing for Guardians. Spend 1 ammo. We have 3 of them. You may use agility instead of combat for this attack. You do +1 damage. After you fail a test while parlaying, put it into play from your hand. So you fail the agility test against Bianca. She comes into play. Then you get a gun, but you can't kill her. Anyway, it's pretty good. Do you ever want to play this if you just want to use combat? It doesn't give you a skill boost, so probably not. Fake credentials. This is the parlay that gives you an ability to get clues. So you bypass Shroud. +1 difficulty for each suspicion. If you succeed, discover 1 clue at your location and place 1 resource on fake credentials as suspicion. If you fail, you discard it or it attacks you. Again, Alessandro might take this. Fox Mask. I have played this one. I'm playing it in Monterey Jack on the channel. Limit 1 mask per investigator, as all of them say. This one replenishes after you move out of an enemy, out of a location with an enemy. So you cannot drag them out. You have to leave the location. Then it triggers after you move out. So you have to leave something behind. If you play smart and you're not trying to fight your other players about what's going on with enemies, I think this is fairly easy to recharge, but you have to wait around for enemies, and leaving enemies on the board is not always the best. The +2 intellect, +2 agility is super good, though. This one's good. I mean, they're all good, but you just have to think a little bit more in order to make this one give you enough back. But still, all the masks, they only cost 1. What do you want for 1 resource and a slotless item? Scrimshaw Charm. Add 1 to 3 curse tokens to the Chaos Bag, exhaust it, gain 1 resource. For each token added, gain an additional resource. Your teammates will hate you. Again, I think you need to have a plan for the curse tokens. This is, I mean, Faustian Bargain is just busted. This is not as good as that on the first play, but if you play it, I think, I want to say 3 times, it's probably better. It's a cheap asset too. Charm. Bank Job. 2 cost. Gambit, double, illicit. So, sorry, Preston. So 2 resources, 2 actions, 8 resources back. So a net of 6, at least for you. I think I feel the same way about the Thorough Inquiry card. I think it's really good. It's probably even better if you can play it to give other people money. Even just 1 resource. I don't feel like the extra action is that big of a deal. You're probably sitting around on some turn where you're like, I can spend 2 actions just to give myself 6 resources, and then you never take an action later to just gain a single resource. False Surrender. I have played this. I tried this in a skid stack at the beginning, and I thought it was cute. So 1 cost, parlay. Choose an enemy at your location, play a weapon asset from your hand, reducing its cost by 1. That's the 1 cost, basically. So you're spending a card to get a fight action with that weapon that you just played and the play. Now you have to use agility, meaning you don't get any boosts from, like, you get +2 combat or something. You don't get that. If it says +2 skill value, then you're fine. Okay, so here are my thoughts on this one. I think that the benefit is you don't have to play a card until you need to. So you can put other things in the hand slot, for example, and then just wait until an enemy shows up that you can't otherwise deal with. I eventually got rid of it, though, because I think I'll take that. That was from last cycle, where you play a card reducing its cost by however much you succeeded by if you evade or investigate, is just a lot better because you get the play and the cost reduction. And I think that's better than the fight action that you get out of this. I think so, because if you're using agility instead of the skill indicated, this is bad unless you already are good at evading. So you might as well evade and play, if it's a humanoid, rather than playing this card. Although, again, if you aren't really good at, you don't want to evade, or I don't know. I mean, it fills a similar spot, but I think the other one was better just because you have the ability to make the card illicit, and that can be beneficial as well. This is basically a card for an extra action, but you can wait until an enemy is engaged with you. All right, Grift. I think this card is fun. I've been playing it a lot. Choose an enemy at your location to 0 agility. For each point you succeeded by, gain a resource. I've definitely gotten 6 out of this. I've also gotten 2, and it felt bad. But you can get a lot out of this if you commit cards that do other things, like draw you more cards or gain you more resources. It's also a parlay, which is important for something later. Now, you are taking a test that you probably don't need to otherwise. So burning skill cards on this it's okay, right? because maybe it'll draw you two other cards that are better, but you could have saved those cards for a test that you actually needed to pass. But the 6 resources is really good. I think the card is good. I would have loved to play this in Winifred when I first played her because I kept needing like a trick to play and with Chuck Fergus, and I needed to commit cards to use her ability, and that's good. I don't understand I'll pay you back. It gets the team 0 resources net, so that's all I'll say about it. Stir the Pot level 0. This is Storm of Spirits. You test intellect maybe 1. It could be just a 1 damage or 1 horror enemy, and then you just deal 2 damage to everything. I think that's pretty good. Vamp. So another parlay. So many parlays. Choose an enemy at your location, test any skill 3. If you succeed and you tested different skills, different things happen. So you're a rogue, you probably won't do the willpower one. And even if you did, how often is there a doom on the enemy? The other 3 are pretty good, but you only choose 1. So it's an excuse to do a parlay, I think. Diabolical Luck. Here is a curse card. So it always has 1 wild, but when you reveal a curse, you may commit this to that test from your hand, so you then get an extra 3. That's a fun card. So you get to commit a card basically outside of the normal time you commit cards. So that should help you pass the test. So a lot of good cards for Haku here, right? In other colors. Light-footed. If this skill test is successful during an evasion attempt, you may automatically evade another enemy at your location. Yeah, it helps you break the evade block, right? It doesn't have to be even engage with you. It could be an elite enemy. Rita can play it. Okay. We have an upgraded British Bulldog. So this one ignores the aloof keyword. You get +2 skill value. Honestly, it's got the same parlay text. This could be good in any investigator who could take it. So Leo Anderson could use combat, get +2, which is already better than most other cards. The 3 ammo kind of stinks. But ignore the aloof keyword. That rewards some campaign knowledge, right? If you know there's going to be aloof enemies, then I guess that's good. For 2 damage. After you fail a skill test while parlaying. So how are you trying to fail? Do you use Vamp? Fail one of those tests? Maybe the upgraded Vamp, we'll see in a second. Just to fail? So basically that gives you a free play. Well, you spend an action parlaying, but you don't get an attack of opportunity. That's good. What's the other benefit of doing that? The 3 resources. It's not bad. Okay, Snitch. I've talked about this card before, and I have been playing it in Monterey Jack, and it's really good. Now, when I first saw it, I thought this was just kind of busted. Discover 2 clues, fast 1 resource. You just need to succeed at a skill test while parlaying. There's lots of ways to do that. I think this doesn't really belong unless you are really trying. My Monterey Jack has 4 parlay cards right now, and I have to kind of wait on this. That said, you can get it from connecting locations, so waiting is not the worst thing. There's lots of parlay stuff here, so it's probably not going to be bad in like the full parlay deck, but I think this is just my thought here. Like overstuffing a deck with parlay things is going to keep you from actually doing well overall. Unless you get to some of these upgraded ones. We're going to see an upgraded fake credentials in a second. I just don't think they do enough versus like the basic way to get clues and deal with enemies. Right? Because a lot of them are events. Some of the assets don't really do much. We'll see. I think the card is really good though. Bewitching. Before you draw your opening hand, this is a permanent card. 6 XP. Search your deck for up to 3 different trick cards and attach them face down to Bewitching. So Beguile can go there. Snitch can go there. When you engage an enemy, exhaust Bewitching. Either draw 1 attached card, one of those 3 things, or search the top 9 of your deck for a copy of an attached card, draw it, and shuffle your deck. So there's a little gamble here, right? You can say, I guess it can be any of the 3, right? You can just say, probably in the top 9, I've got another copy of Beguile. Let's just take it. Or you get nothing. Or you just draw one of your cards, like Stick to the Plan. This has been dubbed Trick to the Plan, which I think is really funny. Yes, I think this is good, but Stick to the Plan is better in Guardian because there's less of a way to find all that stuff. In Rogue, finding cards is not particularly difficult because you have so many draw effects. I mean, mostly it's Lucky Cigarette Case, but card draw is not a problem. 6 XP is a lot for not helping you do much other than, I mean, you remove 3 cards from your deck. That's pretty good. You can find your extra copies of Easy Mark. You know, if you need things to spend XP on, this is not a bad thing to put in like scenario 4 or 5. I mean, you have it, right? That's good, but I just haven't had a problem finding things. Here's another way to find things. Dirty Deeds. This is a double. So we have 1 resource, 2 actions, search your deck for an illicit asset, play it, then resolve an action ability or a free triggered ability for some reason, ignoring all costs, including ammo. Playing this card itself doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. Okay, so you just play this and you shoot a gun. Okay, so it's 2 actions for 2 actions, right? Play and use the weapon. Or it could be something else, right? It could be I don't know, bank credentials. It could be that. But you get to search. So that's the benefit. 3 XP basically for a search. And the play doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. And you save an ammo. Oh, I'm sold on that now. That's a lot of things. Only 3 XP, okay. So is this better than just putting things into your underworld market, which can be full of illicit things? I think it's just different. You could play both, but you probably wouldn't. Upgraded Vamp. So now you do all of these tests. At least you can do as many as you want. And the test is 2. 2 wild icons. I keep trying to put this into my Monterey Jack deck, and I'm just not sure about it. 3 XP is a lot for ultimately getting a clue and dealing 2 damage and maybe moving an enemy. Maybe the Doom comes off. 3 XP for 1 clue, 2 damage for 2 tests. By the way, I haven't mentioned that, you know, all of these parlay things are just a lot easier if you have fine clothes, right? Yeah, I'd play this. It seems like there's something you can kind of hold and make sure you hit something that you can fail for putting the British Bulldog into play, or you are getting something off of Snitch. Okay, it's a combo piece. What I'm seeing with a lot of this is you need to draw through your deck a lot, right? And maybe that's what the Bewitching card is for, helping you kind of smooth out some of that. Big credentials, level 4. This time we always test 0, and we only add suspicion if we didn't succeed by 2 or more, and that's what increases the test difficulty. If you succeed, discover 1 clue at your location or a connecting location. What was the level 0? Just your location? Yeah. And the level 0 added suspicion every time you succeeded. This is better. I mean, is it 4 XP better? Probably. It doesn't get you extra clues, but that's what Snitch is for, I suppose. If you fail, return it to your hand. Nice. Hand slot, 2 resources. Seems okay. Okay, then we have Stir the Pot level 5, which we've seen this before. It was officially previewed. You test according to what the combined damage and horror values is. So again, it's any. Can it be 1 also? Like the other one? Where are you? Yeah, it's combined. So it could be 1, but the problem with doing that is that you only deal 1 damage to each enemy at your location. So you have to take a big test. It could be a 6 test, and then you do 6 damage to every enemy at your location. Overkill? Do you need all of this? For 5 XP, 3 resources, and a difficult test? Seems like fun, though. The level 0 version seems... I don't want to say better. It's just more consistent, I think. This just has a bigger ceiling. After the effect resolves, you may disengage from each enemy and move to a connecting location. What does the level 0 one do? If you succeed by 2 or more. Yeah, but you don't have to pick anything that's more than 1. If you can help it, don't pick anything more than 2. This one, you want to get it up as high as possible. 5 XP events, not my favorite. Moving on to Mystic. Oh, okay, the Cat Mask. Okay, it has been confirmed that this does work with Amina's ability. So you replenish two offerings after Doom is placed on a card with no Doom. So indeed, Amina's ability works, Acolyte works, the Agenda works. Not too hard to replenish this, but when you do, you get all 2 offerings back. So you got to spend them. Spend 1 offering, you get willpower or combat boost. Neat. It's good. All right, we've got a couple versions of Rod of Carnamagos. This one is an item, a relic, a cult, cursed. Limit 1 per deck. Choose a non-elite enemy at any location, exhaust Rod of Carnamagos, reveal 5 random chaos tokens from the chaos bag. If a curse token is revealed, search your bonded cards for a random rot event. What are rot events, you say? These things. There's 5 of them. Okay, attach it to that enemy. So we can either, with the Abyssal Rot, it can't attack. That seems strong. And it just stays forever, right? Until the enemy leaves play. When it's defeated, you get resources. Sounds good to me. Attached enemy gets -1 fight, -1 evade. At the end of the round, it takes a damage. I mean, that's not great, but you're not paying anything for that, right? Attached enemy cannot move. So you can move and leave it behind. It's random, though. So this is... it's fun. I don't think... Well, it's free. You just need to reveal 5 random tokens, and one of them has to be a curse. What's the downside? Okay, one thing before we move on, though. The fact that you can do this during the middle of a skill test, like people have talked about, can the curse token count as being a revealed token for the purposes of other things that care about curses being revealed during a skill test? Like, oh, I don't know, Eye of Chaos, which would give you a charge or extra clue or something. This just like lets you reveal extra tokens. I'm pretty sure that's not intended. It's a little cheesy. I think that part of the problem is they forgot that you can use these kinds of abilities in the middle of skill tests, which you probably shouldn't be able to do. I mean, they could have said except for during a skill test, but they also probably should have not had lightning bolt abilities during the middle of skill tests. It should be some other icon just to keep these things separate. There's always been that weird thing about like using shortcut in the middle of an investigate test. That kind of stuff you just shouldn't be able to do. But I hate fun, so you can play this however you like. Otherwise, this is a fun card, I think, in its in its normal usage, I think. I don't think it should be used for other things. Speak to the Dead. It's a parlay, and you can get a spell or ritual event from the discard pile back as long as you reveal a skull or curse. Is it worth the card slot? Probably not. Kind of neat though. Wicked of Thame. This is like the investigate one, right? Where you get to add curse tokens and then you can oh, but it only does 1 damage. So you get +2 combat for each curse token added. If the attack defeats an enemy, replenish 1 charge or offering on an asset you control. Okay, replenish a charge is good, right? That could be that. So you use your shriveling to do 2 damage, use this to do the 3rd damage, and then you get a charge back. Okay, right. Replenish, you never go over the printed number that is on the card. So you can put more offerings on Speak to the Dead for some reason. Good card. Antediluvian Hymn, a double. Again, 2 resources, 2 actions, reveal the top 5 cards in the encounter deck for each card revealed. You may add a curse token. To put that card on the bottom of the encounter deck, return the rest to the top of the encounter deck in any order. You're revealing them, so you're not looking at them. So Gloria, very sad. That's a lot of actions for just looking at the encounter deck. And you can usually do this for a free triggered ability. So is it there to just put extra curses in? I hope not. That's not really good. Yeah. Having the knowledge is good. I don't know if it's good enough for 2 actions. For 1 action, I'd play this. All right, Drain Essence, another parlay. It's a spell. Choose an enemy at your location and test willpower X, where it is the chosen enemy's fight value. If you succeed, move 1 damage from your investigator to the chosen enemy. Don't do that. Up to 2 instead if the chosen enemy is non-elite. Good. It's a heal and a pseudo fight. So it's not a fight, which is good for things like Retaliate. It is still against their fight value, but you're using willpower. Parallel Agnes, right? I think this is playable. Accursed, when you commit Accursed to a skill test, add 3 curse tokens to the Chaos Bag during the skill test. Treat the modifier of each curse token revealed as 0. Maybe. Again, there's so much curse stuff here that it sounds... okay. I kind of like it. You give it to the investigate spectacles, and then you pass the test, and you reveal a curse token. Mesmeric Influence. While this card is committed to a skill test, the performing investigator may ignore all keyword or location effects that would trigger during the test. 1 XP for probably 2 willpower. Ignore Retaliate. Alert. Does this skill card do enough? It's practiced. Okay, I can see this in Amanda. I don't know if it's good. I'm a skill card hater, though. It doesn't do enough for me for 1 XP. Olive McBride. I've talked about this one. Here is where you say, I am going to reveal curse tokens. Thank you. The accursed helps out quite a bit, I think. So reveal 4 instead of 1, and you choose 2. So this is better than the level 0 where you reveal 3 and you choose 2. This one really lets you pick the thing you want. In Kohaku, you're doing this to try to get the Paradoxical Covenant, I think, or just any curse. Level 2 Rod of Carnamago. So this one is not limit 1 per deck anymore, which is strange. I guess they ran out of deck space or card space in the set or something. I don't know, because there were 5 rots, right? So there's 6 cards and for the level 0 stuff, and then 2 here. That's probably what was going on. I don't know. Same effect though. Choose a non-elite enemy at any location, and then you stick a rot event to it, but you get to pick, and it's for each curse token you revealed. So you pick any of those rots from up here, and you say, buddy, you are going to be something I can kill and get 5 resources out of. I mean, it's better. I think you'd be happy with the level 0 one for a little bit, but the fact that you can take two of these is good. Call the Beyond. I'm gonna have to go a little quicker here. This is already 1 hour and 20 minutes. We got cards to get through. An additional cost to play Call the Beyond. Add 3 curse tokens to Chaos Bag. Replenish all of the assets, charges, or secrets. Then take a. This isn't even a double. This is really good, right? You just add 3 curse tokens and you get a complete recharge. And you get to play. You get to use an ability. It will provoke an attack of opportunity, but oh well. What are some cool things you can do with this? You can replenish all of the Necronomicon's secrets. Okay. You can replenish all of the old Book of Lore 3's secrets. Obviously, that's I'm thinking of Daisy here. Why don't you think of Daisy, right? Daisy, you should think of for every card. What has the most number of charges? Probably like Brand of Cthulhu level 4. That's kind of sick. Well, okay, look, like level 3 Uncage the Soul sort of does the same thing, except for it doesn't let you then take an action ability on it. So is that worth the 1 fewer experience point and the 3 curses? That's why I want to think about this in off class, right? Okay, cool card. I'm glad they printed it. Okay, we have level 2 Ethereal Form, Read the Signs, and Spectral Razor. They all have the same text as the original version, except for if a symbol was revealed during this whatever attack or attempt, then you return this to your hand at the end of your turn. Okay. So I think the thought before was this was going to be if you succeed by 2 or 3, like the rogue cards. But that's probably too easy and too boring. If you reveal a symbol, is that better? Or just basically the same, just more mysticky? Whatever. The fact that they are upgradable with Down the Rabbit Hole or Arcane Research is fine. I don't think it really matters because the opportunity cost for not upgrading something else is still there. So the level 0 one is just totally good. I think this is neat for Norman because he doesn't have to worry about his level 0 slots. And you guarantee get it back if you are revealing a symbol. So Olive, Favor of the Sun, Favor of the Moon. This is where the Rod of Carnimagos thing is kind of stupid, right? Yeah. At what point is this worse than just playing a better asset? Right? Because like level 3 or 5 Shriveling is just kind of better than Spectral Razor. Kind of. Because you're not spending the resources every time to play it. With Prophetic, this is probably better. I mean, fine. This is a good way to give it some extra juice. Ethereal Weaving. 1 cost, double. So 1 cost, 2 actions, reveal up to 3 different spell events. Like those. 1 at a time, play each revealed event, reducing its cost by 1. While resolving each of these events, you get +2 skill value. So you need to have this and 3 spell events in your hand. So you get 1 extra action and the cost reduction and the +2 skill value, which might not that be important for at least these spells. That's fine. I think drawing all the cards is going to be more difficult. You don't just sit on this and say, I guess I'll only play 2 spell events from my hand. I think that's kind of not worth it. It provokes attack opportunity. That's not great. It probably should have that. 1 at a time, play each revealed event. Okay, what's kind of like this? Level 1 ever vigilant. But assets are, you're going to have more assets and you're going to have this on ever vigilant on stick to the plan. +2 skill value and the extra action. No, I don't like it. It's not, I mean, ever vigilant's like really, really good, above curve. But I think drawing all these things in your hand is difficult because this isn't even a spell. So you can't draw it that easily. Maybe someone will play it and it'll work out nicely, but you need a lot more draw than Mystic has, I think, than to get this to work. The Key of Solomon, a tome. If there are more bless tokens than curse tokens, then remove a bless token and heal up to 2 damage or horror from an investigator ally asset. You just do it. Okay. If there's more curse tokens, then you remove a curse token and you get 2 resources. How could this be bad? It's 4 XP. That is tough, but there's no test here. You don't wait for anything else to happen. You're just playing this because you have curses or blesses. Honestly, the bless thing is probably better, but the curse thing isn't bad either. It pays for the book. Peril Daisy, think this is a way to do it? A way to make that investigator do something? All right. We have some summons. Another 5 XP event. I don't want to see more 5 XP events. They're not good. Fast. Play after a skill test at your location ends, in which at least 2 curse or 2 bless tokens were revealed. If 2 curse tokens were revealed, you get the Servant of Brass. If 2 bless tokens were revealed, you get the Keeper of the Key. If you get both, then do both. Okay, cool. Splashy. Remove this from the game. You could have 2 copies of this, though. You just dump 10 XP into this effect. So what do? When a blessed token is, this is Keeper of the Key. When a blessed token is revealed during a skill test at your location, deal 1 horror to Keeper of the Key and discover 1 clue at your location or connecting location. So control variable does this for 1 resource and 0 XP for curse tokens. Okay. Servant of Brass. When a curse token is revealed during a skill test at your location, deal 1 damage to Servant of Brass and 2 damage to an enemy at your location or connecting location. That seems better, right? Getting rid of enemies from connecting locations seems pretty good. Okay, I mean, these do something. And they only do it 4 times each. Do you play this if you can't get 2 curse and 2 bless? Because you want both, right? For 5 XP? You don't really want just one of them. Do you play it as soon as possible? I don't know how I feel about these. I think they sound like fun. And I think they can do a lot in lower player counts. It's kind of like agency backup, right? But there's not really a way to cheat out more than the value. It only costs 0, though. It's a spell. It's not an ally. I'm lukewarm. I'm lukewarm on these. I think I would like to play with them and see how they actually go. I like the Servant of Brass better just because dealing 2 damage to an enemy that you're not even engaged with, not even at your location, can solve a hunter problem. Getting 1 clue, I mean, you don't even exhaust this. So you could reveal like a string of curses, a string of blessed tokens, and you just get all 4 clues and you're done. That's kind of neat. Okay, I see some stuff, but I don't know. Again, if they leave play, then they get set aside, and you can get them back if you have a second copy of Seal of the Elders. Don't know if you're going to do that. Okay, we have Survivor and the neutral. Matchbox. More shroud reduction. It's flashlight, but better, kind of. -1 shroud until the end of this turn. It could be anyone's turn. Bob likes this. It costs 1. It's an item, no spot. Combining it with stuff like flashlight and lantern, shed a light, scavenging. Yeah, yeah. Basically, we've reached like a critical mass of this stuff where you can do it in any investigator, I think. Pelt shipment. Speaking of scavenging, so if it's in your hand, your max hand size is reduced by 3. Probably don't do that. When the game ends or you resign, if it's in your hand, reduce the experience cost of the next new card you purchase before the next scenario by 1. New card is a card that doesn't already have the same name in your deck. Okay. Or it's just a copy of it that you're not upgrading, right? If you had one copy of level 0 Leo DeLuca, I think getting another copy of Leo DeLuca at level 1 is a new card. I think it's just not I think new cards and upgrades are mutually exclusive. As long as you don't dump the level 0 copy. Right, so you pick this up from scavenging, basically, at the end of the game. That's what you do. Resourceful, scrounge for supplies. Is this worth a deck slot? I mean, people do crazy things for XP. Probably fun. Pitchfork. I've seen this played. It seems awkward, but not bad. So 3 cost, and you get to do 3 damage for a fight. But if you succeed, you lose control of it, attach it to your location, and then you pick it up. So it's like Sledgehammer, but it's better in the sense that you can just leave it on the location if you need to. If you don't have actions, essentially. You can spread out that double action cost of Sledgehammer 0 across turns. So you can use it to, on your last turn, your turn might be like move somewhere, engage, fight, and then you pick up the pitchfork at the beginning of your next turn. Whereas Sledgehammer, you couldn't do it because you don't have 2 actions to, I mean, you just wouldn't engage, I suppose, but you get the idea. Anyone can pick it up, but probably they won't want to since it takes up 2 hand slots. Sparrow Mask, I played a whole campaign with this one, and it's crazy. You're going to be taking damage in horror anyway. Just happens. And the defensive stats, willpower, and agility are the ones to prevent you from taking more damage or horror later. But man, play this in Agnes. She's just going to take the horror on command. Calvin is where I played it. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you play this, basically? Even just as a one-of. I think you could play it as 2 in most investigators and be fine, but... Alright, Elaborate Distraction. I think this card seems fun. 3 cost, that's not cheap. 2 actions, not cheap. But for each enemy at your location and at each connecting location, you can either automatically evade that enemy if it's not elite, or deal 1 damage to the enemy. So this is Cunning Distraction, which was 5 cost, right? Automatically evade everything at your location, but the range is bigger. You spend an extra action, but you don't have to move into that location. So again, you're evading hunters, or you're just killing enemies. Or whittling down their health, right? I mean, the 2 actions is a little tough, but I think you can just do this to save the team. And then maybe you move or something. Push to the limit. This is the ignoring all costs event. So you get a weapon or tool from your discard pile, and it goes back into your deck. Packs use this with baseball bat and maybe something else too, basically to get things back from his discard pile that got discarded. You could do it with Sledgehammer. I think it's fine. You're using it to get stuff back that you lost or got discarded. The problem only is that then it's in your deck and you need to find a way to get it again if you need the weapon. So you probably need a little bit higher number of weapons than usual. So it's not quite like I don't know, what's the Guardian card? Prepare for the worst, right? It's kind of doing a weird version of that, but not exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'd play this, but maybe Patrice. Speaking of Patrice, stall for time. Parlay. Choose an enemy at your location. Test willpower X, where it's their chosen fighter evade value, whichever one is lower. If you succeed, exhaust from the chosen enemy, but do not disengage from it. If it is non-elite, it does not ready. If you fail, you can try again. Hmm. Uh, are you using this to keep enemies around, but just kind of off your back? Is this for Alessandra? I don't know. I like the art. Wrong place, right time. This is a double. Pax has been playing this and it hasn't worked. It's only been committed for icons. It's probably too much. Um, the two actions to move stuff onto assets is good, but you need the time, I think, for it. Maybe in right time, maybe in a higher player count. But we haven't figured this one out. I think you just need more assets, maybe. Tommy, long shot. It's another vicious blow, but no icons, and you can commit to evades. I like this card. I like that it's here. Hatchet. I don't understand this card. You add your agility to your skill value for this attack. It does 2 damage, but if you defeat the enemy, you discard it, which is bad. So you don't want to do that. So you have to use it to attach to the attacked enemy, but not defeat it. And then you need to defeat them with something else. Why not just play a weapon that defeats them in the first place? Well, this one doesn't have um, any uses, no ammo or anything. The problem with level 1 cards like this is you add them in and then you get a better weapon and you say, why did I spend the 1 experience point? I mean, it's better than not, right? If you need something better than level 0. So you have to do some cute things here. You have to be able to punch maybe without a weapon. Maybe you need to use an event to defeat the enemy. But then you could just play something better. It's just sitting in a weird spot, I think. Weapons at a level 1 card, I think, are tough. Tough to justify. You can attack for some pretty big numbers, though. I think most survivors that want to use this are probably going to be at like 7. And that's pretty comfortable. If you discard it, then I guess you just pick it up again with Resourceful, with Yorick. Yeah, but these cards shouldn't be for 1 investigator only, right? That's not a good design. Even if there's one case where you're like, well, the downside is gone, that's not, I don't think that's a good idea. Persistence, a wild that you can commit from your discard pile and go back into the deck. Good. Devil. When your turn begins, move 1 damage from your investigator to Devil. It's got 3 health soak. When Devil is defeated, deal 2 damage to each enemy and investigator at your location. The Exploding Goat. So you are healing yourself for 3, and then you take 2. But then deal 2 to everything else. However, you can also take 2 onto a different asset. I think that's the idea here, is for Hank, you can move 3 damage off of you eventually, and the 2 damage you take can go onto Jessica Hyde or something. Good. Upgraded Fire X. It's fast. That's it. I mean, fast weapons are good. Am I spending 2 XP on this? Probably not. Patrice. Pretty good in Patrice. Patrice likes Fire X. Okay, those are my thoughts. Hunting Jacket. Exhaust Hunting Jacket. Choose 1 non-weakness card in your hand. Attach it face down to Hunting Jacket. Max 3 cards attached. Then gain 1 resource for each attached card. Okay, so you gain 1, then you gain 2, that's 3, then you gain 3, that's 6. So you put the pelt shipment into your hunting jacket. And then when you kill this thing off, you draw all the cards. I can see this being fun. I don't know how you play it other than what I just said. What kinds of things do you want to store away for later? Maybe just do it for the resource generation. Yeah, okay. Mariner's Compass, upgraded one costs 2 instead of 3. I think that's a good upgrade. And then you exhaust the Mariner's Compass. If you fail, you ready it. Yeah, the problem with Mariner's Compass is that if you drew an auto fail or just failed in general, you're like, well, I have nothing else to get clues. You still probably run yourself out of resources with this, but I think for like the setup, two costs instead of three is good. Survival technique, I've talked about how this is neat, so I won't talk about it again. We have a level 2 Keep Faith. It costs 0. I mean, that's kind of par for the course, right? Level 0 to level 2 cards are some kind of cost reduction. I think they just needed to stick this into this box in order to have more less generation. Sister Mary still can't take it, but now Daniela can without it being a big deal. Sure, Bless Daniela seems like a thing you could do. Providential. We have some icons, but not too many. It's skill 2 XP. If the skill test is successful, add 1 Bless token to the Chaos Bag for each damage or horror on you, whichever is less. What's the upside here? Whichever is less. So for Hank, you need to wait until you have 4 in your first form. I think you're 5/5. And then you only can have a max of 3 in your second form unless you have things like the tarot card. So if this skill test is successful, add maybe 3 or 4 blesses to the bag. Or you just play Keep Faith. I mean, it's a skill card, right? So you commit it for something and you get the benefit. So I guess that's fine. I, again, am not a believer in skill cards that don't do that much. I mean, aren't there like the level 0 ones that do more than this? Signum Crucis, I think, does kind of more. If you're Silas, I guess it's just another good innate skill to have. But man, the skills need to do something like brute force. Or have reusability. Like, I think persistence, I would rather have in my deck. And it's only one fewer icon, really. Token of Faith, level 3. It's blessed. The original one wasn't. After a skill test ends in which one or more curse or auto-fail tokens were revealed. Yes, the rare 2 auto-fail bag. Anyway, exhaust token, it could happen, right? Because you can treat the the Elder Sign as an auto-fail if you're playing with Daisy and you have the Necronomicon. I think that's kind of funny. Anyway, add that many blessed tokens to the Chaos Bag. Okay, so at least 1, maybe 2. If this skill test failed, after resolving all effects from the failed test, the performing investigator may attempt that test again. I assume this is like Live and Learn and you do not pay costs for the test. Pretty sure. It's Live and Learn on a stick for 3 XP. I mean, that rate, I don't know if all of these cards are balanced for exactly how you would use them, but this is a really good card for 3 XP. You just put it down and you say that every time you draw an auto fail, even during a skill test that you care about, like not Mythos phase really, that you deinitiated yourself, you get a second try once per round. You don't draw that many auto fails. Even if you draw like 5 auto fails, and they're all gonna be in the same round. All right, that seems really good. Dark Horse level 5, permanent Dark Horse. So the benefit here is it starts in play. You don't have to spend 3 resources. You don't have to spend the action to play it, and you don't have to find it, right? Part of the problem with Dark Horse is that you're kind of messing around until you find it, and then you may have too many resources and you say, can't play this anymore. So this kind of gets the idea of Dark Horse Online earlier. I don't know if the payoff for Dark Horse, in my opinion, is that good. +1 to every step. For 5 XP. I wish there was something else on this, like once per round you can spend 1 resource to get +1 skill value or something. Try to rein it in a little bit, but kind of have the level 0 talents stapled on in some way, because I don't know, like resources are better than not having resources. And +1 to everything is not that good in Survivor because you rarely are adding 2 stats together. So maybe in Patrice you can pull this off, but then you can't play the events, right? I was thinking about like read the signs, etc. Might be kind of okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot, but when I played Dark Horse before, I was like, what's the point? I can just play normally and spend my resources on playing cards. Events are assets, right? Because assets get you ahead in the game because they do some kind of action compression. Events usually do more than that, but you can't play these things without having resources. Granted, you don't need to be in Dark Horse mode all the time, but maybe this is good with like Prophetic or one of those talents that lets you spend resources to pay for cards. I can see that might be good. 5 XP. Okay. Neutral cards. Eldritch Tongue. I wanted to put this in my Monterey Jack deck and I couldn't find the space. It seems really good because it's recursion. You get to play any event with parlay in it, including Snitch apparently, from your discard pile. That seems really good. The problem is, I was like, what do I cut? I think in Alessandra you obviously just add this, but yeah. Okay. Bide your time. You spend an action and an action, and then you get 2 actions back next turn. So you can play this with double, right? All the doubles you can do it if you have an extra action afterwards. So you could play, so you get 4 actions for the 3 you spend this turn. If you had double, an 8 XP card. I've been impressed by Well Dressed. Oh, what's my opinion of Bide Your Time? I think it's, I don't know. I think the turns that you want it, it won't be in your hand. Well Dressed. I've been impressed by this card. There was a lot of parlay actions from these scenarios that you just have to pass, and +4 is you just pass. Dawnstar. Fast play after revealing chaos tokens during a skill test at your location. Ignore the modifiers of each curse token revealed. For each curse token ignored, deal 1. Wow, okay. Deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. Why is this not cursed? Not that it matters, but I guess because it's blessed. That's the opposite of cursed. You are ignoring the curse tokens. Ignore the modifiers. Can you do this with the 35 Winchester? Ignore the modifier? No, it's not a 0 then. It wouldn't be a non-negative modifier. It's not even a modifier at all. Anyway, this seems... So you reveal all of the chaos tokens? Yeah, okay. 1 XP. Seems strong. Occult Reliquary. 1 per deck, and you get an extra hand, accessory, or arcane slot for blessed or cursed things. Makes sense. Makes sense for this deck, for this set. Plus, I think that we're getting a little lean on being able to play all our cards, and I like playing all the cards. More slots is good. Okay, our last mask. Broken Diadem. 5 XP. After a skill test at your location ends, in which both a bless and curse token were revealed, place 1 resource on this card as an offering. Do this 3 times, and you swap it with the Twilight Diadem. When you reveal either a bless or curse token during a skill test, spend 1 offering. You'll have 3 of them. And exhaust this card. Treat it as an Elder Sign. Return to the chaos back. Then you swap it back. Okay. This is way better than the Miracle Wish, I think. I mean, it's easier to keep it running, right? You need to get both the bless and curse out at once. You can make that happen if that's what you're trying to do. And then you just have either a bless or curse, and you get an elder sign instead. Hmm. Okay. Obviously, it depends on your elder sign, right? You're not doing this to get like +5 end of story, although that could help with the curses. Um, Kohaku, what is his elder sign? I think it's just add more tokens to the bag, right? Sorry, we're just +2, add one. That's not that great. I mean, it's +2. I guess that's better than continuing along a curse curse string spiral. So who wants this? People who have the best. Maybe this is for Father Mateo. This is the thing he actually can do. York, can he do it? After a skill test at your location ends in which both. So it doesn't even have to be you. This seems appropriate. I don't think it's busted. I don't think it's. I mean, it's a good build around, I think. I don't think you do this unless you are building around it and the payoff is fine. It's 5 XP. I don't think it's bad. I think Sister Mary could be pretty good. Hers adds more blessed tokens. Is that much better than adding one bless and one curse? I think for Kohaku, you're feeding this, right? You're just saying, I'm passing tests. And that's better than nothing. There's a lot of really good Elder Signs out there, though. I don't think any of them in this set are particularly good. Let's look. That one's good. You may swap a tool asset in your play area with a tool asset in your hand with equal or lower printed cost. Still just a +0, but it lets you get a free play of something that maybe ran out of supplies or uses. Kate, you move a clue back. Right, okay. That's, I mean, you're not doing the math thing for that, but it's good. If you succeed, choose a non-elite enemy at your location or a revealed connecting location, automatically evade it. Okay, so it's good for her because you're parlaying enemies and this gets them off your back, but you probably already were planning on how to deal with that in the first place, right? So why do you, I mean, it's good, but you're not going to try to force this, I don't think. I think this is probably good for what he wants to do because you're going to want to remove them for his ability. Right. Hank, +1, baby. The Resolute versions are good, but you need to have the assets out. And we've never done this. I don't think we've played this yet because we never had other assets for Hank to put stuff onto, which is just a factor of the limited card pool, I think. Oh man, we got through everything? I think we did. Let's go back and look at that last mask again. I think they were pretty they were pretty reserved, I think, in this set. I don't see anything here which is just like, holy cow, this is gonna break open the game. The masks are the only thing where you're like, this seems to be a really good value for level 0. But I didn't see anything at level 4 or 5 where I'm like, I mean, you just put this in play and you win. That is good that you don't have that. There's not like a Cyclopean Hammer. I think the Token of Faith is very strong. I don't think it's going to put you over the top, though, right? It just all does is keep you from failing big tests, which is important, but you need to be able to make those tests meaningful, not just like, hooray, I did 1 damage. Maybe these do more than I think. I think the Key of Solomon is quite good. I like all McBride still. Of the new cards, like I think the Rod is gonna be very fun. I don't know if it's like a game changer. I just think it's gonna be fun to play. Let's go back to Rogue. Probably have the strongest cards. Like I think the upgraded fake credentials is pretty good. Bewitching is nice. Snitch. I think the gun is gonna be good for a lot of investigators. It's a nice another option, I think. A lot of level 0 cards. Oh. Maybe these are the ones that are kind of busted. What can I say? Canceling treacheries over and over again. Defeating enemies. It's just not that hard, I think, to do this test. So it's one cost. It's an event. Play Farsight, maybe. Make it fast. And then it's for each point you fail by, you get the growth. You don't have to succeed by too much, like 2 or 3. And I think you do quite well. Yeah, sometimes you'll need more, I guess, but I don't know. Commit some cards. Use Kate's use the mouse mask. Use Kate's +2 ability. I know I didn't really talk about the investigator so much, but um, I don't know. It just seems like you are just playing the game and doing this rather than it being like a side quest. I don't think you're eating up an action. You can commit deduction to this. You can commit other stuff. I don't know how you'd fix that, but I think this just seems like typical seekers win the game by playing the game rather than doing something a little bit unusual, which is what I think other classes like to do. Be fun to see it actually in play. I've only played with some of these cards, and I hope to play with some of them again real soon. The box will be releasing, I believe, on the 16th. I think it's on next Friday. So we'll all get a copy and get to see what you all think of these cards. Thank you for watching. This is a nearly 2 hours of me rambling on about these cards. Again, I didn't talk much about the investigators, but we'll go into them in further detail another day. But thank you all for watching. Enjoy playing with some new cards and doing some crazy deck building. We don't get a new set again for probably another year, so enjoy.